Hi, Dr. John. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Yes. So, I'm in a situation where my husband and I have struggled with our intimate life, and I was developing a chronic health issue this past year that really caused a lot of mental and physical kind of like disabilities in my body.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I started going to a doctor to find medical help, and this doctor was very empathetic, very good listener. His emotional intelligence was 10 out of a 10, and obviously he's a doctor, so that's his profession. But what I found in those doctor visits was that the care that I was receiving from this doctor, and just the emotional support that I was receiving,
Yeah.
Ignited feelings in me where I was like, this is what I'm missing in my marriage.
Yeah.
And I expressed to my husband that, I realized that, emotional intimacy in our marriage was missing. And it was a very conflicting situation where my husband actually told me he had me cancel all of my doctor visits because he felt like me going to this doctor was going to cause more problems down the line emotionally, just because he was just a really good listener, and I felt like I could vent with him, and he was just someone that I could vent with about my problems, emotional, physical problems.
Yeah.
And I did find a lot of healing from him. I physically felt better after doing my appointments with him.
Sure.
And obviously I've never been unfaithful to my husband. I've never done anything like that. But my issue was that I was just feeling very conflicted about, my emotions. And so now, I don't see that doctor anymore. I don't visit him and do any appointments. And I've expressed to my husband that our marital intimacy is not as strong.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like he cares or has emotional empathy towards me, especially with my chronic health issues that I've experienced this past year. I was really looking and craving for compassion.
Right.
And now that I'm not doing my appointments with the doctor, I still have moments throughout my day where I feel like I think about him, but then I'm like, am I thinking about the feeling that I felt of how it made me feel to feel seen and understood? And what I'm really longing for is to feel seen and understood.
Yes.
And I guess it's just making me question my marriage. And
Sure.
And just to give you some backstory, that particular doctor was a divorced doctor, and he actually would advise me, because I would vent with him about my, I guess, marriage problems, and that was probably not a good thing to do, but
yeah.
He would kind of advise me, how long are you going to put up with, this in your marriage?
What kind of doctor was he?
Really
Was he a chiropractor, general practitioner, acupuncturist? Was he an intern?
It was a chiropractor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple different things going on. First of all, thank you for calling in and being candid. I don't think you would find this behavior from a typical doctor, first of all. The one who's willing to talk to you about your private life, especially someone like a general practitioner, unless you had a concierge doctor, because usually they only have 15 minutes and they have to get down to brass tacks. Chiropractors are a little more loosey-goosey. They have a different medical board. They often chat clients up. And so it's a little, the fact that he was willing to talk to you about your marriage more than just once without saying maybe you should see a therapist, that's actually a red flag. It actually is that your husband's concern is not unfounded. Now, what's also happened is a very common phenomenon. They train therapists about it very rigorously. It's called transference. So transference is when, you start having feelings for the person taking care of you. It's normal. I work with couples all the time. It's come up. You'll hear things from clients like, why can't I find a husband like you? Or, I wish I had your marriage. And there's this hint of, all the things that I'm wanting exist in you. And why can't it starts with why can't I have this in my own home? But then eventually what happens if it doesn't go without being identified and dealt with, and there's different ways to do it. There's different ways to deal with it and call it out. Eventually your husband has a really bad moment. You have a really bad fight. You see your doctor or your therapist like the next day, and you sometimes make a move, or you start fantasizing about the doctor himself. It's a dangerous ground. And here's the funniest thing. We don't talk about this because it's more about you guys, but when someone's on my couch, right behind me there's the couch, right? Especially if they come in person. I've had couples who come and talk to me for, 8, 10, 20 sessions, and they'll say things like, "Oh my God, you're our best friend. We love you so much. You have to come to our birthday," or something like that. And I laugh in my head. I say thank you, and I'm polite. And I say, that's very sweet. I can't do that, right? It's an ethical boundary, and it is. But the funnier thing is, they don't know anything about me. I've spent hours listening to them and helping them. They don't know my wife's name. They don't know how long I've been in this office. They don't know anything about me. But when someone listens, you develop a connection, because that is the human way of signaling that they care about you. So the truth is, the chiropractor is probably just as much of a mess as your husband, because everybody's messy. But you only see him in the context of him being a professional who's there to help you. The fact that he's willing to talk about your marriage is, in my opinion, very inappropriate. And so you should, I want you to get healing, but if you start feeling like this is showing you what's missing in your marriage, it's probably appropriate to get a female practitioner or someone who's not there. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't change the fact that it has woken you up to something missing in your marriage, yes. Right? That is still true.
And I think that's the big takeaway here. Like, I feel like I've awakened to this new reality of like what I desire and want in my marriage. And like, I want to feel seen. I want to feel understood. I want to feel cared for. So on the bright side, it awoken in me like this desire for more out of my marriage.
Yeah. And that's great. You should ask for more. I believe in overreaching. Mm-hmm. I believe in goal setting. I believe in having the best version of your relationship. Chances are he just doesn't know how to do it. Not that he's unwilling. And so he needs a little bit of training. And the way that you do that is, you could buy books. You can try to drop hints. You can have him see someone like me. I have a course that I'm releasing on something like this. But on your end, being specific. So like if you tell your husband, I want you to be more empathetic, unless he's naturally empathetic like a chiropractor. By the way, everyone in the wellness field tends to be empathetic. It's part of the job. Learning good bedside manner. You have to learn to sit there and with a concerned face go, oh, okay. I mean, doctors who can look at your knee and tell you what's wrong with you without ever talking one word with you still have to pretend that they're listening intently, because that develops trust in the relationship. So what you're seeing is somewhat synthetic, but it also tells you it can be learned, right? Because really cold doctors, unless they become surgeons, which some do, right? Or anesthesiologists, right? Which some do, and they don't deal with that bedside manner all that much, still have to learn how to at least fake or synthetically create that sense of trust, which means it's trainable. And so you have to break down how to do it. And I'll give you the first step that you can do with your husband. You can say, listen, I want you to be empathetic. I want to feel more listened and heard to. What does that mean for you on a practical level? I would like to take 20 minutes or even just 10 minutes a day where you put your phone away. There's no screens, there's no kids, there's no distractions. You ask me about my day, and then you ask follow-up questions, and you don't offer any solutions. Just for 10 or 20 minutes, right? So what happened at work? Oh, I got in a fight with, my coworker. Oh my God, what's her name? And how did you feel about that? It's really just about asking questions without offering solutions and showing interest. That's 90% of empathy. But he doesn't know that. If he knew that, he'd be doing it, right? So you have to tell him, this is what it looks like. And can we do it 3 times a week? Or can we do it every day before bed? And you know what the funny thing is? He's going to enjoy it. It might be boring for him and hard for him in the beginning because it's frustrating. He doesn't know what to do. But the truth is, connecting with people feeds a part of your brain that is connected to the reward center. We are wired for human interaction. We're just stuck in our phones and being selfish. So if you can jumpstart it, I do it with kids all the time. I do it with my own children where they're stuck on the phone, they're stuck on their iPads, and I say, talk to me. What's going on? Explain what you like in the video game. And then I ask questions, and they suddenly feel seen and heard, and they don't want to play the video games as much. So you have to train them a little bit. That's the truth.
Got it. Okay. And then I think one other thing that it awoken in me is like
Sure.
Acknowledging, because we not only did we talk about my marriage, but we also talked about like child, like just wounds or things that I've dealt with in my past, and I've discovered that I have a father wound. And I also incline more towards like anxious attachment, whereas my husband is an avoidant.
Sure.
And like, obviously we're not, maybe not extreme avoidant anxious, but like there is some level of anxious avoidant dynamic in my marriage. And I guess like the polarity, like the energy between us is not balanced, because I have been living in like my wounded masculine energy, and he's been living in his like wounded feminine energy, and I'm just trying to find balance again. And I'm not sure with like, I guess the reason why I think I felt safe being vulnerable with that doctor was because I felt like my feminine energy was like able to like be balanced with his like very like alpha masculine energy, and I there was a lot of polarity balance there.
Sure.
Whereas in my marriage, I don't feel like we have that polarity balance. And
Yeah,
so
and by the way, that's the normal. That's the normal dynamic. What you're dealing with is normal, right? 70-80% of men are avoidant. 70-80% of women are anxious. It does get flipped from time to time, but what you're dealing with is totally normal. And what you felt isn't that he's necessarily this male polarity. I mean, maybe there's something to it, but I think what you felt was someone was calm enough and stable enough to hold onto the space you needed to vent and to be reassured that you're okay. And so and that's the core thing that anxious attachment people need. They need reassurance. They need reassurance that you care. They need reassurance that you're still desired, right? And that's what you're looking for. The avoidant one is afraid of criticism. That's the key thing. And so if you say you're not empathetic enough, he will shut down. But if you show him how to do it, and then the second part of that is when he does it even remotely well, right? Like if he gets like a C+ on being empathetic, you have to throw him a parade and say, this was so helpful. Oh my God, this is exactly what I want. Please do. You have to build the confidence, because the bumper sticker slogan of people who are avoidant is, it's never enough. I'm never good enough. No matter what, you're not happy, right? It's a reflection of, I can't do this. And so there's a defeatist attitude. Meanwhile, if you counteract that with, this is so helpful, you're so amazing, I know it's only going to get better, thank you so much, it feeds their ability to get past that self-criticism that's keeping them in that cave. My wife tends to be a little bit more avoidant, right? She's very much secure, but she's not so forthcoming with compliments. And the other day I helped her fix something in her car and like the keyless entry or whatever it was. And she said, you're so smart. Look at you. I love you. Never comes out of her mouth. And I literally smiled. And I said, that made me feel like $1 million. Oh my God, you complimented. And we've been married 15 years. And I overdid how grateful I was. And she laughed and smiled and got just a little bit more confident. And I know the next time I'm going to get a compliment, it's going to be easier for her. All right?
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. John.
My pleasure.
I appreciate the advice.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for calling. Bye.